Hey everybody, welcome back with more Pokemon Showdown replays to show you guys I'm NecroVMX, and this is a battle versus Vixosario. He's on the right, I'm on the left. Let's do this. Oh god, I keep doing that. Why do I keep doing that? I keep forgetting how loud this game actually is. I have my volume down at like nothing, and still it's so loud. Okay, so I start off with a Rigorol Rotom. Oh wait, actually I think we've seen this one, haven't we? Hold on. Yeah, we've seen this one. All right, this is the one that I meant to play. Hold on a second. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're going to show all the ones that I have open. Okay, so this is actually versus G. I don't know how to say that. There's no freaking vowels, so let's just play it. They're on the left, I'm on the right. They start with Solgaleo. I start out with the Beast, Quillfish. Okay, so like I said last time, Quillfish can't deal with Psychic types very well, but I had a Focus Sash and I get the pain split off. The second Zen Headbutt is going to take me down, but I got this legendary Pokemon down to half health. I send Porygon Z, who's also very bulky, and I get a special attack boost, so I'm able to take him out pretty quickly with Shadow Ball. I have to slow this down. So they send in Naganadel to pick up the Toxic Spikes. That's fair. I'm fine with that, but they're just going to go down to Shadow Ball again, so Porygon Z is doing work just like Quillfish, did pretty good there. Tapu Lele comes in. Tapu Lele is a really top-level Pokemon, but it is also a Psychic type, so, they went for Calm Mind. Big mistake when I'm outspeeding them and spamming Shadow Ball, so that's just Babu Beep. He's done. Terrakion comes in. I think, all right, let's try it. I get a critical. Can you believe it? And then they went for Stone Edge. Unfortunately, it does hit me, and Porygon Z goes down. But I am in a really good position here. So I sent in Lantern. Lantern is another Gen 2 Pokemon that's surprisingly bulky. I mean, it lives to Earthquake, even though it's weak to Earthquake. It just has a lot of defense. Of course, it doesn't have much special defense, but I'm able to take this Terrakion down with Skull. They send in Dugong. I'm thinking, well, what is this thing going to do? It uses Perish Song. So, here's the thing. My Lantern can't do much to this Dugong. I actually don't have an electric-type attacking move, or I would have been able to take it down really easily. They can't do much to me. They only have water and ice, both of which I resist. So we're just basically flailing at each other until the Perish count goes down to 1 and we both have to swap. So I'm just saying, alright, well, Lantern, might live very badly by the time I have to swap, and that's indeed what's going to happen. I did get a burn off on him. I figure we'll just, get as much damage on this Dugong as I possibly can. So we got to swap or die. They send in Jolteon, and I decide, well, I'm going to swap to Noctowl, bait them into using Thunderbolt or Thunder. Then I swap into my Garchomp and decide to just do the most disrespectful thing that you can do with Garchomp, which is Mega Evolve, because it actually lowers its stats. Mega Garchomp just sucks. So that's obviously Hidden Power Ice. Did a lot of damage, but you're just going to go down to Jolteon. Your Jolteon's going to go down to Earthquake. So they send the Dugong back in. I lock myself into Outrage, figuring, what the hell, maybe I can take him down, and I took him down pretty easily. Babu Beep, he's done. So this one's versus Sakshi 99. I'm on the left, they're on the right. So I actually start with Mimikyu, which is I really like Mimikyu. They have Gallade. They actually go ahead and Mega Evolve, which I kind of figured they would, and go for Knockoff, which gets rid of my Life Orb and my Disguise. But I'm at full health still, and I went for Swords Dance, which is pretty, it's predictable, but whatever. I went for Shadow Sneak. It's pretty good damage. They went for Swords Dance. Big mistake, because I'm just going to Shadow Sneak them again. And that's Mega Gallade down. So now they send in Muck. Muck always worries me a little bit. I decide it's probably going to kill me right away, but let me get a hit in with Shadow Sneak. I actually live the Gunk Shot. So I can say, alright, I'll get another Shadow Sneak in, but they also have Shadow Sneak, so that takes me down, so because Muck has better stats. So I send in my Lapras. Lapras just has a lot of hit points. I actually get the freeze on Muck, so I figure, oh, well, now I can kind of do whatever I want, because he's either going to stay in and be frozen, or, swap, and nothing really wants to swap into an Ice Beam. Ice is one of the worst types defensively, but it's a great attacking type, so I decided to put my sub out and just get leftover health back and just see what happens here. So there goes Muck. This is going really well at this point. They send in Golem. I'm thinking, holy shit, I must wall out their whole team. So I went for Hydro Pump, which takes them down to their sturdy. Golem is double weak to water, and it's also weak to ice. I decided to go for the ice type Ice Beam here instead of another Hydro Pump, because it's only at 1% health, and I really don't want to miss. Sucker Punch isn't going to quite do it. Lapras just has so much health, and Golem is down. So this is going well. Lapras is doing really well. They sent in Magnezone. I really hate this thing. This thing's really annoying. I sent in my Victini, thinking, alright, maybe I'll do like a fire-type move or something. I take Flash Cannon really well. They swapped to Feraligatr. They knew I was going to do Blue Flare or, Flamethrower or something. So the Feraligatr, of course, takes it like a champ. Unfortunately for them, I have Volt Strike, and I get the Paralyze. So they actually took me down with Liquidation there. I thought I would outspeed it, but Feraligatr is just that fast. So I send Lapras back in because I figure I can do whatever I want. They send Magnezone back in. I'm like, God damn, this thing again. It takes the Ice Beam really well, of course. Jeez, Magnezone, I just don't like you very much right now. So now I put Roserade in because I figure here comes an Electric-type move. But I actually went for Flash Cannon, which does more than half my health. Thankfully, I get some of it back with Black Sludge. I just put it to sleep because I'm tired of dealing with Magnezone. Magnezone is like the bane of my existence right now. I really don't like dealing with these things. So now that it's asleep, I figure let's set up a little. I start setting up some Toxic Spikes. And I'm also, of course, getting health back from Black Sludge. They're sitting there hoping to wake up and hit me with probably Flash Cannon again. So I got 2 layers of Toxic Spikes, which is always a happy thing. I went for Leaf Storm, which I didn't think was going to do a lot of damage, but at least get some damage off. They finally wake up. They hit me with Flash Cannon, but I was able to take it really well, due to the fact that I had... I took it badly, but I was able to take it at all. So I went for another Sleep Powder instead of swapping, as I'm like, I'm going to piss this person off. So the Black Sludge really came through for me on that. Leaf Storm doesn't do much. It has diminishing returns. Unfortunately, they woke up right away this time, and they take me down with Flash Cannon. So Roserade, you did your job. You set up. I sent in Chestnut, figuring if they go for Flash Cannon, I can at least take it, pretty well. But I was wrong. It did pretty good damage, so I'm like, oh, crap. But I went for Drain Punch. It's super effective. I get a little bit of health back. I finally get rid of this Magnezone. That thing was pissing me off. So they have the Feraligatr, and they have one more Pokemon, which turns out to be Kyurem. Kyurem, I'm glad, got Toxic Poison right away. I decided to send in Lapras. And it, the Fusion Flare does like nothing. And I'm going to be able to take this out pretty easily. Draco Meteor, of course, it does a lot of damage, but Lapras has so much hit points. Unfortunately, I had went for Substitute, so, that didn't do so well, because I had less than 25%. They went for another Draco Meteor to take me down, but Lapras kind of successfully stalled him out, because now his special attack is like at a third. I doubt this thing has a physical move. Kyurem tends to be a special attacker. Fusion Flare is going to do not too much damage now because the special attack drop. Drain Punch is just going to be where it's at for this battle. So that's pretty much game. There's nothing that Kyurem can do except for try to get some health back from Roost, but aside from the fact that Drain Punch is super effective and giving me my health back, it probably would have died to Toxic even if it had lived. Feraligatr comes in. This thing's low health and paralyzed. Woodhammer is going to take him down. No problem, so that's game. Okay, so let's go to this one. This one is versus Boca AS. They're on the right. I'm on the left. So I have a Keldeo lead here. They have Mean Shao. I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. They went for High Jump Kick right away, which does very respectable damage, except I get a critical with Hydro Pump and take down the Mean Shao before it can become like a real problem for me, which is really good. So in comes Blossom. I'm not liking the matchup. I switch over to Mimikyu. And they went for Giga Drain. All it does is break my disguise. So I'm like, okay. And they lost a little health, which makes me think, obviously, they have a Life Orb. So they sent an Infernape. I had gone for Play Rough, which does pretty respectable damage there. I went for Shadow Sneak. It doesn't do the damage I was looking for, and I'm going to go down pretty hard to this Flare Blitz. So unfortunately, with the recoil damage and the Life Orb, the Infernape goes down. So that's really unfortunate for them. It's fortunate for me. Blossom comes back in, and I decide to stick with Keldeo because I don't like to reveal my whole team right away. But then I double switch over to Gyarados because I was expecting a Grass-type move, except they went for Moonblast, which is okay. So they switch over to Tentacruel, which is really interesting. I had went for Ice Fang. Of course, Tentacruel, is completely unbothered by that. I decide to Mega Evolve because I figure they're not going to use a Fairy-type move, and if if they have a Fairy-type, I can just swap out, and I take Tentacruel down with Earthquake. So here comes Gastrodon. My giant shrimp doesn't really like this too much. I went for Ice Fang. It does like absolute monkeys. Of course, Earthquake can now hurt Gyarados because it's no longer a flying type when it's Mega Evolved, but I took it pretty well. I decided they're going to do Earthquake again, so I swapped into Drifblim. Of course, he's immune to ground-type moves, being a flying type, so this is getting me kind of back on track with this one. I get the burn off on this Gastrodon, which is really helpful. Clear Smog. I don't know what they were thinking there. I don't know if they realized what that move does. Maybe they were thinking it would get rid of the burn or something. I don't know what that was all about. So I just set up a substitute here. And they went for Scald. So I'm like, okay, well, it has Scald. That's, they're like, I'm burned. I'm going to try to burn you. That's sort of the mentality here, I think. Decide Hex is my best bet. It does okay damage. They're going for Scald. I'm going for Hex. I get burned. They take me down to my Citrus Berry, and that's actually going to save me in this matchup because I was going to go down before the Gastrodon, there's no doubt. But now, because of the Citrus Berry, they're going to go down before me. Even with the critical hit. So that would have been an instant kill right there. So I'm going to take them down with Hex, and then we're going to see what else they have. We know we have one Pokemon that I haven't seen, and they have the Blossom. So they send in the Blossom, so I'm still kind of in the dark about what their last monster is. I went for Acrobatics because it's super effective, and I know I'm going to go down to something here. They decide to use Hidden Power. I don't know which Hidden Power it was, at least not yet. So I send in my Mega Gyarados, maybe see if I can maybe outspeed it and get a quick hit off with Ice Fang, and I missed. Can you believe it? So Giga Drain's going to take me out. That really sucks, and Mega Gyarados doesn't resist Giga Drain the way that regular Gyarados would. So I send in my Meganium, figured, well, let's see, what the hidden power is. It's probably Fire, Ice. I went for Dragon Tail. They actually live, but now they're going to have to swap out. I was really curious about what the last Pokemon is, and it's Genesect. Now here's where I did something stupid. I'm like, okay, they miss Blaze Kick, which is amazing. I decided to get a Toxic off. I forgot that Genesect is a Steel type, even though you can tell it's a Steel type just by looking at it. So I'm like, oops, here comes the Blaze Kick. Let me swap to Keldeo to take that better, and of course that works really well. So I made a bad mistake there, but that happens. So they swap back to Blossom, probably figuring, well, what is he going to do? I went for Secret Sword. Obviously, anything was going to kill the Blossom at that point. They send in the Genesect. That is their last Pokemon, and they get a special attack raise. I'm a little worried, except I take the Extreme Speed really well, and I'm like, all right, well, I have two more monsters. Let's just see what kind of damage I can get off with Secret Sword. And, it's about 2 hits, so they went for Extreme Speed again. I just live it on 1% health, and they're going to go down to Secret Sword, and that is game. Bop, boop, beep. So this one's versus Sawbug, Mr. Giggle. They're on the left, I'm on the right on this one. So they have a Weezing lead, which is interesting. I have Metagross. Now here's the thing, I actually don't really like Metagross. I never have any luck with it. I'm going to Mega Evolve. They're going to Mega Evolve with their Latios. This has a really funny moment in it, you guys. So I sent in Lunala. They Mega Evolve and use Hidden Power. It does nothing. Now, I'm assuming that it was Hidden Power Fire because they were thinking of using it against the Metagross. I went for Moongeist Beam on their Slant Slash, and it takes it, but I'm thinking the next one is going to take it off. They use Knockoff. There goes my leftovers. So the second Moongeist Beam is going to easily take down the Alolan Sand Slash. See you later, Supersonic. So the Weezing comes back out. I use Psyshock. Weezing's surprisingly bulky in special defense, so that took that pretty well, and they get the Black Sludge Poison off on me. So I'm like, all right, well, let's just see what Lunala can do here. Unfortunately, not much because they went for Protect, so my Psyshock is pretty much wasted. Fortunately, this is regular poison. It doesn't rack up, but I'm at no health here. The second Psyshock is going to take them down, so I'm like, okay, Lunala did pretty good. She took down 2 Pokemon before going down herself. So, I send Mega Metagross out. I never had any luck with Metagross at all. They use Hidden Power. That's definitely Hidden Power Fire. So I went for Hammer Arm. It does nothing. I get a speed drop. I'm just like, ugh. So I send in Furret, and you're thinking, Furret versus a legendary that is Mega Evolve? What can this thing possibly do? Well, they start setting up because they're thinking the same thing. Furret, are you kidding me? I use the knockoff. That's super effective, and I get a lot of damage. I actually live the Psyshock. The second knockoff takes him out, and that's how Mega-Latios died. To a Furret. Can you believe it? So in comes Scyther. I know this thing's going to take me out. I'm thinking, alright, Scyther is pretty annoying. It has a lot of weaknesses, but it definitely has Eviolite. I sent out the Metagross. They use Bug Bite. So I'm like, okay, I took that okay. Meteor Mash does not the damage I'm looking for, but I decide to swap over to Dodrio. So they went for Bug Bite again. That's why I swapped the Dodrio, because it is Flying type. They switched to Kyurem, so I'm like, okay, here comes the Ice move, right? But let me just get a little damage off. Dodrio's not going to do much else. I switch into Comfey to take the Ice Beam, or whatever it is. I was right, it was Ice Beam. Comfey is a really cool Pokemon because people mistype it all the time. They think it's a Grass type. So a lot of times when I throw out Comfey, people are like using Fire, or Bug, or Ice moves, or Flying moves. It's not Grass type. It's a single type Fairy. So Comfey often is a little misunderstood, and I kind of use that to my advantage. People see flowers, they think Grass type. So I'm able to stall out really well with Synthesis, except then I get frozen, so I'm like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. But I figure I'll stay in because I'll let the Toxic rack up on Kyurem here. It's going to continue to use moves like Earth Power and Ice Beam that aren't doing quite the damage they're looking for. I'm probably going to go down sooner or later, or I'll wake up and be able to hit him, but I think they might be out of Ice Beams because now they've switched to Earth Power. I actually live that one, and it goes down to the toxic damage, so I'm like, okay. So Scyther comes in. Comfey is going to go down to Aerial Ace here, there's no doubt. Surprised to see Aerial Ace in a competitive battle, but whatever. So I send in Dodrio because I think, well, I'll at least tank the bug moves pretty well. I knock off his Eviolite. He went for Swords Dance. That was a big mistake because I outsped you and you no longer have high defense. So, good night, sleep tight, you white Scyther. Their last Pokemon is Mew. It's weak to knockoff, so this is just, it's over. There goes his choice specs. They went for Ice Beam. I just live it, can you believe that? I mean, I also had the Mega Metagross and one other Pokemon as well, but Dodrio is the one to end it there. That's game. So this one's versus Butt Sharpie. Yes, this person's name is Butt Sharpie. This was actually the first replay that I had saved. This is an old one. Let me just show you. This is a really funny one. So this is my throw. My throw does some real work on this. They sent out Dragalja. I'm like, okay, let's knock off whatever it has. There goes the Life Orb. They sent out Toxic Spike. So at this point, I'm thinking, all right, I'll just not swap. I can stay in with throw as long as possible. So Circle Throw is kind of like Dragon Tail, except it's fighting type, so it forces you to swap. Purugly, they didn't want their Purugly out. Every time I got it in, they used U-Turn. So I'm like, okay, U-Turn, it doesn't do much. Now, Throw has a really amazing set here. I have Knockoff, Circle Throw, Rest, and Sleep Talk. So this thing can just stay in for a long time. And I can force them to show their entire team. So Carnivine uses Swords Dance because of course it does, and I get the rest off. So I'm like, what is this thing going to have? A Grass type move? Probably not going to be a problem. A Dark type move? Definitely not going to be a problem. So I get Sleep Talk, Circle Throw. That 3x attack is out the window. In comes Purugly. It's going to U-turn because of course it does. This person really didn't want to use Purugly. Probably because it's normal type. Here comes Empoleon. This thing's weak to fighting as well. So, I get Sleep Talk, Knockoff, get rid of the Life Orb, which is really good because here comes Ice Beam. It does nothing. I woke up, but guess what? I use Sleep Talk, of course. But I'm at good health here, so I just, I take the Flash Cannon really well. I go for Circle Throw. This thing just barely lives, but it's going to have to swap. Dragalge gets dragged out. So I'm like, okay, this throw, this guy's going to stay in. I decided to rest because I figure it's going to do like Draco Meteor or something at this point. I actually went for Dragon Pulse, which, I might have lived, but I'm glad I went for rest there. So at this point, I, of course, go for Sleep Talk. I get Circle Throw again. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but Dragalge gets out. In comes Carnivine. I'm like, alright, it's probably going to go for Swords Dance. I can only really go for... It actually went for Power Whip, which misses. I can only really go for Sleep Talk, because it's only the second turn that I'm asleep. I get rest. Okay, that's bound to happen every once in a while. What can you do about that? So they finally get the Power Whip off, and the damage is pretty good. I woke up, but guess what? I use Sleep Talk, so that really sucks. So I'm like, okay, I might actually be in a little bit of trouble here. They went for Knockoff. They really wanted to get rid of my leftovers. If they had went for Power Whip, they probably would have killed. So I get the rest off and become healthy. So that's awesome. They went for Power Whip. Yeah, that was 40%. That probably would have killed. So I'm like, okay, got to go for Sleep Talk. I get the Circle Throw off, finally get rid of this Carnivine. It was the only thing that they had that was any kind of threat to my throw. In comes Samurott. It uses Mega Horn. That's not going to do anything. I don't know if this person knows what they're doing at this point. I think maybe they're just getting really frustrated. I go for Sleep Talk. I get Knockoff. There goes their Life Orb. So they went for Liquidation. I used Rest on this turn because I figured I would wake up. Good thing I did. Otherwise, it would have been a wasted turn and I might have went down. So that was just a really lucky guess on my part. So the salt is real. There's no way this person isn't just oozing salt out of their eyes, their butt, everything. There's just a bunch of salt. There's just a mountain of salt around them. Circle Throw is going to take down the Samurotts. I've taken down 2 Pokemon. I've severely weakened most of their Pokemon that are left. Gliscor comes out. I don't like dealing with Gliscor. Earthquake does pretty good damage. Unfortunately, I had went for Sleep Talk and I woke up. So Gliscor, of course, has a Toxic Orb, and of course it's going to have the Poison Heal ability. They finally take down my throw. I sent out Gyarados, and guess what? Nope, they noped the hell out of there. Rage quit. My guess is they're like, well, if I can finally get rid of this throw, at least the next Pokemon will get poisoned. When I sent out the Flying-type Gyarados, they're just like, hell no. Plus, Gliscor is really annoying, but Gyarados is a pretty hard counter to it because it almost always has Waterfall, and you can get that Waterfall, flinch hacks. So there is that. Okay, so this next battle is against Rice 7 Bull. They're on the left, I'm on the right. They have Seismitoad to lead. I have Metagross. You guys know how I feel about Metagross. It's Peyton's favorite Pokemon, but I just never have any luck with it. Earthquake does nothing. And Seismitoad is weak to Earthquake, so I'm just like, what the hell? Well, I mean, it's partly weak to its neutral damage, but God, it's so bulky. They get their Earthquake off, and I go down. So, Bapu beep, sorry, Metagross, you're done. So, Mimikyu comes out. I'm like, okay, they're going to swap, and they do. They swap into Blissey. The Wood Hammer does pretty good damage against Blissey. I decided not to use Swords Dance right away in this sense. But I'm like, okay, Blissey's not going to be able to do anything to me, so now I will use the Swords Dance. Blissey has... they went for Heal Bell. I don't think they knew what it does. Blissey has a lot of hit points, and it's a special wall, but it has no defense, no regular defense. They've toxic me, so I'm severely poisoned, but this Blissey's going to go down and play rough. There's no way it's going to be able to take a physical move when my attack is ×3. That's up by that's as high as it can go under normal circumstances. So in comes Gyarados. Here's the problem: it would have lived play rough, except it Mega Evolved. It's now Dark type. Dead. Babu beep. He's done. They got to be pretty salty at this point. My Mimikyu finally goes down to Toxic. I felt pretty good about that. If they had not Mega Evolved, they would have lived that. So I sent in Farfetch because I'm like, I have this crappy Pokemon. Let's just send it out. I actually lived the Ice Beam, and I did a surprising amount of damage with Knockoff because it's a critical. I got rid of their Life Orb, so hey, Farfetch did something. I sent in Skuntank. Skuntank is really good. Sludge Wave does nothing to me, and I'm able to get him with a Sucker Punch, so that was actually a crit. It might have mattered. Nidoking is pretty bulky. So they send in Unbound Hoopa. I went for Sucker Punch again. That is that takes off just so much health. They went for Drain Punch to get some of it back. And, of course, it's, going to do well against Skuntank. They sent in Salazzle. I really like Salazzle. I never get to use him. Every time I send out a Salazzle, somebody rage quits on me. Crunch does pretty good there. And then I figure he's going to go to attack to finish me off, so I went for Sucker Punch, and done. So all they have left is Seismitoad. I figured they're just really wanting to get rid of me, so Sucker Punch again. I'm going to go down a Life Orb. So here's the thing. If they're smart, they'll set up, let me go down to my Life Orb. They weren't smart. They went for an attacking move. Sucker Punch takes them down. Skuntank goes down to his Life Orb damage. But it's over. I've already won, so that's game. So this next battle is against Cliseric. This is a more recent one. So let's see. They sent in Tentacruel to start. Okay, I have Vespiquen. This one has a really crazy ending. You guys are going to love this. So Vespiquen has no attacking moves. All it has is setup stuff. I sent in Bastiodon because I figured they were going to use something poison type. Of course, that doesn't work. They get a critical... Oh, no, I'm not sorry. They didn't get a critical with Skull, but they got rid of my... my balloon. I sent out some Stealth Rocks because I figured Bastiodon's not going to do much in this battle, but he is going to set up. But I decided to just try a Metal Burst. It does really well. So now I'm like, okay, I'm going to go down. Let's send in Amoonguss because he's going to use, Scald again. And, yeah. So I know this thing can probably hurt me really badly with a Poison-type move, but let me just get something off real quick. It actually went for Rapid Spin to get rid of the Stealth Rocks, which is okay. Giga Drain does nothing though. That's really disappointing. I mean, I know it's neutral damage, but I figured it would do more than that. Tentacruel is bulkier than people think it is. It's kind of like Quillfish in that sense. So look at this. This thing's at 1% health. I'm getting mad at this point. I'm like, just get off my screen, man. It finally gets a poison type move off on me, but it didn't do a lot. So finally, I get him with a Giga Drain. I get nothing back. It's actually 0.8% health back. So they bring in Incineroar, they intimidate me. I'm thinking, well, here comes a fire-type move. Let me send in Gliscor. And, yeah, there goes Flare Blitz. But, wow, I took that badly, even though I'm ground-type. That just sucks. But I have a Toxic Orb and, of course, the Poison Heal ability, so I'm going to continually get health back. I used an Earthquake, but they had switched into Torterra. So Torterra is another annoying Pokemon. It's just really hard to deal with. So I'm like, let's see what it has. It had leftovers. I'm glad to get rid of that. Woodhammer, wow, I actually lived it, probably due to the fact that I'm part flying type. So, yeah, that just sucks. I went for Roost, because Gliscor is just a troll, and I'm going to keep him in if I can. There's not much I can actually do to this Torterra, but I can annoy the hell out of them, except they get a critical hit. I mean, that kind of works for me, because they... took more recoil damage. I went for Taunt because I don't want this thing to set up anymore. So I figured now it's definitely going to use Woodhammer. Let me switch into Amoonguss. And, of course, that does nothing. So, alright, so I've revealed more of my team than I'd care to. I only taken down one Pokemon. This is really annoying. So I decided to just start using Sludge Bomb on this thing because, I figure, well, here comes Earthquake. Again, right? So I swap in Vespiquen just to, waste their Earthquake. But, of course, Vespiquen can't actually attack. It has just a setup move. So I've sent in Bastiodon. They went for Woodhammer. I thought maybe I'll live it really badly, but no, I go down. But at least it did a little damage to them as well. I sent in Amoonguss. They went for Earthquake. I was hoping for Woodhammer, but... I finally take this thing down with Sludge Bomb. That was really annoying, that Bastiodon. So, like I said, this has a really crazy ending. You guys wait for it. So they send in the Incineroar again. I'm like, okay, well, here comes a Fire-type move. This time my best option was Machamp. Flare Blitz just takes so much health off of me. I'm like, wow, that really sucked. I'm thinking, he's probably going to do it again. I'm going to let it happen. Just let him take the recoil damage. Machamp can't do anything. I'm just like, oh man, I'm going to lose this one. So I send in Pangoro because I think, well, it'll at least take a Flare Blitz. It takes it very badly. I'm at 22% health, but I'm able to get a Drain Punch off, get a little health back, and finally take down this stupid freaking Incineroar that's just pissing me the hell off. So Empoleon comes in. I'm thinking, okay, Drain Punch again. Thankfully, it misses the Hydro Pump because that definitely would have killed me. I take off most of its health and get a lot back. So I'm thinking, okay. I go for the second Drain Punch. That's going to give me a little more health back, get rid of Empoleon. So I'm thinking, Alright, now something's happening. Now I'm feeling pretty good about this. They have a Naganagal. So Naganagal is annoying. It actually had Fire Blast, which is interesting. I'm able to get the Ice Punch off. Ooh, I go down to my Life Orb, but I'm feeling pretty good about this. They only have one Pokemon left. It's Palossand. I have 3 left, but I'm really worried about Palossand. I send in Vespiquen because I figured he's going to do an a ground type move. He actually Rage Quit on me, and I'm thinking, wow, he probably could have won. I think he was worried about what Vespiquen had. Vespiquen had nothing. There was nothing that I could do to this. My Gliscor had like very little health left, and my Amoonguss was not going to be able to do well. Amoonguss could have used Giga Drain on it, but I think Palossand would have came out on top. I probably would have stayed in and continued that battle, but this person decided it was unwinnable and they forfeited. So that was a really crazy ending there. They didn't even try anything with their Palossand. And like I said, Vespiquen couldn't have done anything and had no attacking moves. So this next battle is versus Hitsu XX One Shot. They're on the left, and they're going to start with Klefki. This is another really funny one. So I have Typhlosion. They don't want to deal with Typhlosion because it'll body them. They sent out Sea King. I used Eruption just to see what kind of damage I can get because I'm at full health, and it does really well. So I swap out to Deoxys. They use Waterfall, and that does a lot of health. So I'm thinking, alright, they actually swapped to Guzzlord, which is interesting. Psycho Boost, of course, they predicted that I was going to use a Psychic type attack, but then I went for Superpower, taking off most of their health. So, Guzzlord was a good swap, but then I was able to hit it pretty hard. They take me out with Draco Meteor, but Deoxys did its job. They have a special attack drop. Unfortunately, they get a Beast Boost off, so I got to worry about that. Lapras is able to take it down with Ice Beam. Bop boop beep, he's done. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. They send in the Klefki. I'm like, alright, let's send in Typhlosion. And they don't want to deal with Typhlosion. They put up a Toxic. I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's see what happens. And then they forfeited. What happened? They're like, okay, we're going to throw Toxic on this Typhlosion and then quit? What are you doing? And I definitely went for Eruption there, but I would never get to see if it would have bodied this Klefki. Definitely would have. So here's the next one. This is against Charlie XYZ. They're on the right. Oh god, I did it again. Hold on. That's my bad. I keep doing that. So I start with Deoxys Defense form. They have Exploud. I went for Seismic Toss. It's not very good damage. It's set damage, and they're actually higher level than me, so that doesn't do much. So I just think I'm not going to do much with the burn now anyway, so I'll just throw Toxic out there. I got to slow this down. There we go, that's slowed down. So I figure, alright, we'll get Stealth Rocks out too, because I'm still alive. They finally take me out with Fire Blast, but I figured Deoxys, he did what he had to do. He got a Toxic up, he got a Stealth Rock up. So I sent out Rotom Wash, just use a Hydro Pump. That almost takes him out. He's going to go down a Toxic right here. But what's he going to do to me? Fire Blast. Ooh, not a good idea. This is Rotom Wash, not Rotom Mow. That did nothing, so he goes down. So Plusle comes out. I'm thinking, okay, alright, let's see what we're going to do. He uses Hidden Power. I don't know which one it was, but I resisted it. So I'm thinking, maybe it was like Hidden Power Ice or something. So I use Hydro Pump. It actually lived, but I got rid of the Balloon. They use Thunderbolt. I take that very well. And the second Hydro Pump takes him down. Now, I'm going to go down to Life Orb damage anyway. Girafarig. I'm like, alright, well, let's just stay in and see what it's going to use on me. It has Psyshock. So I'm like, okay, let's deal with that. Girafarig, I find to be an annoying Pokemon to deal with, so I'm going to send out Comfey. Because I figure, let's Toxic it, and, Comfey's really specially defensive. It went for Hyper Voice, which I take really well. So I'm like, okay, let's just rack up the Toxic and just see what I can do to it. Draining Kiss, get a little health back, I have leftovers. They went for another Hyper Voice, so this is just not working out for Charlie here. Charlie's not doing well against me here with this Comfey. So I'm going to continue using Draining Kiss. They're going to continue just fucking about. So they use Nasty Plots. I'm like, now they're setting up, huh? Are they just trying to take me out with one shot, or do they have Baton Pass on this thing? Like, what are they doing? They're going to go down to Toxic. And a second Nasty Plot when you're at 5% health and you have Toxic up? What are you doing? Goodbye, Girafarig. So in comes Mewtwo. This is going to be Mega Mewtwo X. I'm thinking, okay, this is really interesting. This is the second time that they're using a Psychic type. They went for Ice Beam. This must be I miss Toxic. That sucks, but I'm just going to get it on the second term. They must be one of those people that think Comfey is a Grass type. It looks like a Grass type. If you don't know Comfey's a single type fairy, then, it's easy to make that assumption. So, Mega Mewtwo X has the Toxic up on it, and I'm just going to continue using Draining Kiss and getting health back from my leftovers, and they're going to continue losing health. So Zen Headbutt does a lot of damage, and I'm thinking, alright, another Zen Headbutt is probably going to take me down. So I went for Synthesis. So now, the salt is real, you guys. So salty. They're just going to continue using Zen Headbutt. I'm going to continue using Synthesis. The Toxic Poison. Mewtwo is going down. By the way, how derpy is freaking Mega Mewtwo X? Mega Mewtwo Y actually I think really has a cool design, but Mega Mewtwo X just looks so stupid. You know what it looks like? It looks like Mewtwo had relations with Popeye, and this is the child that came out. So, that's what it looks like to me. And then they rage quit. So I have one more battle to show you. They're thinking, if Mega Mewtwo X can't win, I can't do anything with the 2 Pokemon left. So they just decide to peace out on that one. So this last one is versus Smilek. Let's see what happens. I have a the dogs are fighting. I have a Simipour lead. They have Deoxys Speed form. I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. Obviously, outspeed me. Get rid of my leftovers. Whatever. I went for Hydro Pump just to get some damage off. So it's probably going to take me down. It doesn't. It goes for Stealth Rocks. I'm like, okay, let's set up Nasty Plot. Let's see what I can do with this thing. Unfortunately, Psycho Boost is going to take me down before I can... I think I had Baton Pass. I was going to Baton Pass into something else. So I sent in Pinsir. This is actually a... I believe it's a Leftovers Pinsir instead of a Mega Pinsir. They went for Superpower. That does absolute monkeys. So I really like Pinsir here. They went down to their Life Orb. I had gone for Knockoff, but that's fine. So they sent out Entei. I'm not going to live whatever fire move it's going to use, so I sent in Palkia. I really want to save my Pinsir to do something. They actually had gone for Stone Edge. I wouldn't have lived that either. It actually misses anyway, so maybe I could have stayed in. Who knows? So they sent in Galvantula. I'm thinking, alright, well, let's get a Hydro Pump off. They're going to use an Electric type move. There's no doubt about that. So, yep, it's Thunder, and it misses. Ooh, Fire Blast is going to take down Galvantula pretty easily. So, this is the 2 main attacking moves I have are Fire Blast and Hydro Pump. They both have low accuracy, but I had really good luck here. So here comes the Mega Metagross. I'm obviously going to go for Fire Blast. They went for Ice Punch. It doesn't do much. It's just neutral damage, and Palkia is really bulky, so Fire Blast does a lot of damage. They're going to swap to Entei. Obviously, I'm going to use Hydro Pump. Or actually, I went for Fire Blast because I was still attacking the Metagross. But now I'm going to go for Hydro Pump. They know I have Hydro Pump. I guess they just decided to see if they can take me down with Stomping Tantrum. Nothing doing there. Hydro Pump takes down the legendary Doggo. So they send Metagross back in. I'm like, okay. They went for Zen Headbutt, and I lived. I lived on 4%. Fire Blast takes down the Mega Metagross. Bop boop beep, he's done. I'm thinking, damn, Palkia is a beast. Houndoom comes in. So I'm thinking, it's going to outspeed me, and it does, with Sucker Punch, actually. I didn't expect Sucker Punch. I expected it to just outspeed me. I sent in Tyranitar, because I'm thinking, well, this thing probably has, like, Flash Fire or something. They swap over to Zygarde. This is where it's all over for them. I Mega Evolve and get a Dragon Dance off. So now I'm Mega Evolve. I got, extra attack and speed. Ice Punch is going to take Zygarde down. It's double weak to Ice. What can they possibly do to me? Here comes Houndoom. There's nothing this thing's going to do to me, so they rage quit. And that's going to be it. When I get another 10 replays or so, I'll show you guys more of them, but that's going to be it. Keep an eye out for more content.